Oh, okay, great. We want to welcome everyone today. It's going to be an awesome time as we talk about what's going on with the New Jersey State Police and how we can all get involved, get more of our recruits, especially from our inner cities, to get on board with this process. And we love to see our black brothers and black and brown brothers and sisters in that blue. So we're looking forward to that. So anyway, with that being said, on behalf of Reverend Derek Green, who's not able to be on tonight, and the entire IM family, the Interfaith Action Movement family, we welcome each one of you that are on the call today, and we welcome the New Jersey State Police. You know, I just want to give a little testimony right before we turn it over. Not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, the year before. So I guess it would have been 2020. The New Jersey State Police, we partnered with them in the city of Camden for a Christmas toy giveaway. And my goodness, it was such an awesome time. Several hundred parents with their children came out. They received toys from all over. Thank God for Rabbi and others that came in and helped out with donating so many toys. But it was great to see the interaction and the community relationships between the state police and the residents of Camden. And even some of the Camden County police officers came out as well, which is great. So it was just one big family. But I have two great pictures that are forever in my mind. And one picture was of a young child in a car receiving his present from one of the state troopers with his parents in the front, and how he looked up at the officer, seeing a black colonel giving him a present, and he looked up and his eyes basically were communicating, man, I want to be a state trooper when I get older. And that was a great picture. Another great picture that we have is there's a group that we work with in Camden. It's a group of about 3 or 4 individuals. Well, actually 3 or 4 main ones, but they have about 20 in the organization. But the 3 or 4 main ones that started the group meet them at the gates, where they meet prisoners that are coming out of jail, and they meet them at the gates and give them whatever resources they need to help them get housing, so forth and so on. But at this particular time, there was like 3 or 4, I think it was 4 guys there. Each one served 30 plus years. One guy 40 years, another guy 38 years, but 30 to 40 years each one of these guys served. And the relationship that they had with police officers before that, and then there they were side by side, handing out presents, working with the state troopers. And the guys asked for a picture. Can we get a picture with some of the state police officers, the Camden County Police, and the Attorney General, so we can talk about how far we've come from the hurt, the pain, the crimes that they've committed, after now serving the time, but now being out here working side by side with law enforcement, blessing God's children. So, boy, that was really powerful. And we want to see more of that. We want to see more community policing, more of our officers involved in the community, more officers that reflect, their complexion reflects the complexion of the community. And that's one of the reasons why we're on this call today. We're on this call where they can talk about the process, this window that's open to get as many officers from our community to follow the process and move down that road to become state police officers. So with that being said, we want to again welcome the New Jersey State Police today. And let me just turn this over now to, I'm so glad to have Lieutenant Colonel Jeannie on the line. And let me just turn it over to you, Lieutenant Colonel, let you take it from there. And we will have questions and answers after the presentation. So God bless you. Thank you so much. And again, on behalf of Reverend Derek Green and the IM family, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. And I need to thank Reverend Green and IM for allowing us to be a part of your community for the last number of weeks. We've been doing this for the last few weeks. And though we are touting recruitment and we go over the numbers and we go over our process, this is more about building relationships. And if we've built one relationship in the last number of weeks, we'll continue to do this even after the recruitment process is over, because it's really important that people understand what we do and how we do it, so we can build that trust back into the communities, so the community can go out and be a recruiter for us as well. Without the help of everybody out there, our recruitment process isn't going to work, but also our policing won't work. We need the community and police to have the trust in each other to get this job done. So again, this is a recruiting call, but it's more about outreach and building bridges and coming together and doing what's best and in the best interest of the citizens of New Jersey. So thank you for allowing us to do this with you again. I know I didn't introduce myself. My name is Jeannie Henniel. I'm Lieutenant Colonel of the Admin Branch, and I oversee the recruitment and the training and a number of other issues in the division, but the main components tonight are recruitment and training. So we started our recruitment process a while ago, and we have an online application open right now. And I'll turn it over to either SFC Spies or Major Brian Polite to talk about that process and where we are right now. Our recruitment process, I couldn't be more proud of our recruiters of that bureau and of that section, because they are running every single day. They are going out there to every event that they can possibly go to. Again, it is for recruitment, but it is for outreach as well, and community, bringing the community together. So our recruiters are going everywhere, and they're not stopping. Even though the online application will close on August 2nd, we're not going to stop recruiting. We're not going to stop the outreach. And that's what's really important about what we do. It is key that we have a police department, an NJSP, reflect to the community that we serve. I think that's critical to the state of New Jersey, and I think we're doing an excellent job of it. But again, I couldn't be prouder of Major Polite's section, Lieutenant Grossman's bureau, because he does oversee the outreach unit and the recruiting unit. So again, I just want to thank Reverend Green. I want to thank IM, and I really want to do a shout out to Irene, who's been wonderful in helping us setting up these calls and these very intimate conversations where we have very good question and answers, and we can answer a lot of questions that are out there. So at this point, I think I'm going to turn it over to SFC Spies, and she can go over a couple of things that we've discussed in the past. And then if we want to go back at the end and do some question and answers, we can do that. And then I can go, there's Irene. Thank you, Irene. We can go over some of our numbers of where we stand right now with our recruitment process. So Alina, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Yes, good evening, everybody. My name is Sergeant First Class Alina Gutierrez-Spies. I'm the Assistant Unit Head of the Recruiting Unit. We've been on here last couple weeks with this recruiting drive, so we're excited to be back on and go over some of the things that we've already talked about and a little bit of our recruiting efforts, and also what we can do for our future recruiting efforts as well. A little bit about the state police application. So the application's open until August 2nd. Our application is not open year round. It is a time frame. So you have until August 2nd at 11:59 p.m. to apply. You can apply at www.njtrooper.com. Again, I will repeat that, and I'll probably repeat it again at the end. www.njtrooper.com. On that website, you'll be directed to the recruiting unit. There is a tab that says application. Prior to filling out the application, there is another tab that will let you know what our recruiting events are, along with our career nights. We also have a tab that gives you your minimum qualifications. Just to briefly go over some of those qualifications, one big myth I would say that the state police has is that you actually have to have either a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, etc. That is one of the 3 educational requirements if you have just the bachelor's degree. If you do not have a bachelor's degree, it's 60 college credits from an accredited college. 60 college credits along with 24 months of any kind of work experience. And I say any kind is because we always get calls. You know, I worked at Walmart, I've worked at Wawa, I worked in corporate America. It is 24 months of any kind of work experience. It does not have to be consecutive. It's 104 weeks with at least 20 hours per week. So if you can combine those weeks to equal 104 weeks and you have 60 college credits, you will fulfill that educational portion. If you do not have 60 college credits, but you are military, we do have for active duty or even reserves. If you've served at least 2 years of active duty, along with 30 college credits. And 30 college credits are, again, from an accredited college. A lot of our military members aren't aware that you can take your basic training, annual training, and push that over to get college credits, and you'll be probably really close to those 30 college credits. So if you don't have it this time, definitely look into that. Our age requirement is 21. You must be 21 at the time that you apply. At this point, we are a couple of days away, but if you do turn 21 on August 1st, you are able to apply, and you cannot be 35 by the time you graduate our academy. And that is built into the system. If you do go in and you put your date and you get kicked out, it is because the system has calculated that you will already hit 35 by the time that you will graduate. Along with citizenship, driver's license, and a decent background to move forward in our process. And that's just the minimum qualifications. Again, to apply, www.njtrooper.com. After you do fill out the application and you move forward, you will be given a requirement to fill out your physical qualification test date. That is the very next phase of our application, of our hiring process. The PQT consists of push-ups, sit-ups, and a run. If you go again to that website, www.njtrooper.com, it will break down exactly how many points you need in that push-up, sit-up, and run battery to equal the points, which is 15, to move forward in our process. Also on the website is information, great information on how to do a proper push-up, how to prepare. There's videos. If anybody has any questions, again, and you want to get more information, reach out to our recruiting unit on that website. Again, there is a tab for our recruiters, there's phone numbers, and there's email addresses as well to please reach out. So that is pretty much the selection process as far as the first phases. Quickly after you do the PQT, if you move forward, you'll be going to our written exam. That written exam will, prior to the written exam, once you pass the PQT, you'll be given a basic study guide to move forward into our process, and then that will move you along. We do start off at 65,655, I'm sorry, 65,566, there's a lot of fives and sixes there. 0.50 is our starting salary. And that is a great starting salary. It comes with, pension, health benefits, go on the website. If you have the time, we do have a few career events coming up. We do virtual career events. We do online career events. We also have a Q&A scheduled for tomorrow that anybody can go on and talk to a recruiter and get a lot more information about this entire state police process. As far as reaching out to our communities, we have an ad agency who has put this information out strategically to certain areas, areas where we can recruit more minorities, and areas such as South Jersey where we need more troopers. They have a target audience. We were out at the NAACP convention. That was multiple days. We had multiple troopers, and we also had troopers out on the boardwalk. We've also been to every single county, all 21 counties. We've had troopers, we've had our outreach unit and other helpers out there, recruiters, just basically getting that information out. Along with that, we've been to Great Adventure, the American Dream Mall. We were just at the Kevin Hart, the PNC Art Center for that. Just really thinking outside the box. We've also opened up the museum down in Trenton. That's our division headquarters. We do have computers there where you can come down, talk to a recruiter. We can help you log on, and computers are there so that way you can either start or complete your application, along with getting more information and visiting our wonderful establishment. Let's see, the laptops, and now how can you help? I think the Lieutenant Colonel touched on it, that we are recruiting, and right now, again, the recruiting process, hiring process will be open till August 2nd, but this is a year-round effort. We have our outreach unit as well. The recruiters do go out, and we are going to be, constantly thinking outside of the box, working with you all and working with our communities, working with our outreach unit to plant that seed, right? Because right now we're talking about individuals who are able to apply and meet those minimum qualifications. But then year round, it's to plant that seed into these communities on how they can become a New Jersey State Trooper. And the pastor touched on, handing over that present to that young gentleman. And we hope that we will have him part of our ranks in the future. And I think that's a big picture, and that's very important for us, and makes us, a better state police. I don't know, do we have any other things, Major or Lieutenant, to touch on?
I think I got rid of my picture, but one of the good things that you guys started to do is all of the events that we are doing
Yes.
are being emailed out to everybody. So everybody that's on our list, our email list, you're getting to see everything that we're doing. And I know you've probably been getting hit with a lot of emails because we've been doing a lot of events, but sometimes people just don't know what we do because you're not everywhere. So this new approach that the recruiting unit and the section came up with really gives everybody a feel of where we are, what we're doing, and how much we are doing. And we really want to continue to do that year round, because we want people to stay interested in the state police. We want people to stay interested in law enforcement. If they don't end up in the state police, that's okay. If we can be a mentor to somebody and they end up getting the job that they want, and it might not be in law enforcement, that's just as good. We want people, we want to be there for everybody. We want to be able to support, push, share. Our recruiters and our troopers out there play basketball with kids. There's tournaments. They play a lot of soccer with kids. You can see it all on our social media. So yes, we are recruiting, but we're also trying to build the confidence and trust. So I think a lot that we've done this process is a little different, but if there's anything out there that you want us to attend, reach out to SFC Spies or Lieutenant Grossman or Major Polite or even myself. And we'll try to get somebody there, whether it be somebody from Field Ops, whether it be somebody from Major Polite Shop, or if somebody wanted to learn more about canines, we can get somebody from Canine out there. So it's just that communication that has been building throughout the last number of years that's going to make our process better. Bri, do you have anything to add?
Sure, Lieutenant Colonel, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I would just say, just to echo with what's been said by Sergeant Spees and the Lieutenant Colonel. A few months ago, we had a meeting with our community stakeholders, and one of the things that we got out of that meeting is that we wanted to make sure that they were engaged and informed. I think those were the two, if you could think about two words that can sum up what our strategy was with the community, was to be engage them and inform them. As far as our engagement, we wanted to make sure that we tapped into our communities and our community partners, including IM, to say, where do you want us? Where do you need us? We may not have all the answers, but we wanted to make sure we reached out to everyone to make sure that they had some skin in the game and can give us suggestions on some of the places we may not think of where we can be. And we did get some suggestions there, and those suggestions we moved on. Now, the informed part of that, the informed part being that wherever we were, we wanted to make sure you knew about it, or wherever we were going to be, we wanted to make sure you knew about it so you can spread that word. And I think just based on the email blast that we put out, sometimes I think we were killing the group with emails, but I would prefer it that way. I'd rather you be killed with emails than say you weren't getting any information from us. But I think we did a terrific job as far as making sure that we kept everybody informed of where we were going to be. We sent out emails about our virtual career nights. We actually send out digital versions of our recruiting paraphernalia. So if you just wanted to share it with someone via email, you had the ability to do that. Our recruiting was a full division effort between a lieutenant colonel and a colonel. They made sure that everyone in the division, we had buy-in from all of our 3,000 enlisted troopers to make sure that they were part of this recruiting team. As far as my section goes, we made sure that everyone in the section, including our outreach units, we have a diversity and inclusion unit that we stood up. They played a great part, and even we made sure that everyone kept paraphernalia in their recruiting paraphernalia in their cars at all times. So when they stopped and dropped their kids off, or when they stopped at the local dry cleaners, at the supermarket, that they can have this information at hand that they can give out. We have our Citizens Academy group, which is great partners with us. Our Citizens Academy is a very diverse group of individuals. We made sure they were involved and informed. Our chaplains, our community outreach members, different churches throughout the state, we made sure we attended. We went to, there was a National Baptist Convention that I was at a few weeks ago. And we just wanted to make sure that we were hitting every nook, every inch of real estate possible to make sure we're getting this recruiting message out. As far as our stakeholders, our politicians and our civic leaders, we had Newark Mayor Ross Baraka. He recorded a message for us, a recruiting message. The Colonel, a few weeks ago, went on Reverend Al Sharpton's radio show to push out that recruiting message. Like Sergeant Speed said, the NAACP convention, we were out there the entire time that the convention was going on, and we were also at the on the boardwalk. So either you were going in or coming out, we were going to get you. We were going to trap you one way or another and make sure you got our information. And as far as our advertising campaign goes, we made sure that when we spoke to our advertising company, that they knew that this had to be an ad campaign that reached diverse groups, and it reached our inner cities, our minority communities. And we wanted to make sure our ad campaign reflected that. And also, I don't think you can drive around the state without seeing our ad campaign. We were able to get our ads, our messaging on the DOT variable messaging board. So if you were driving on any of our state highways, there was no way you couldn't see that we were recruiting and hiring. And last thing, I don't want to go too far into detail, but I can tell you this. One of the biggest things I picked up from our talking to the community is that we've been doing a lot of things that the community may not have been aware of, our community partners may not have been aware of. So I think we had to do a better job at engaging with the community, but also informing them of some of the good things we've been doing for quite a long time. And I think if you, when I look back at this recruiting campaign, after this campaign is over, I think we could say that we hit the mark in a lot of our endeavors. So I'll leave it at that. And I appreciate the time to be able to address you today.
I can finish, I can talk about some of our numbers right now, just so you can see where we are with the online application. So right now we have a little over 2,000 members that are qualified to move to the PQT, which is the physical qualification test. Of those 2,000 applicants, 1,500 have already scheduled their PQT. So you see, we have about 500 people who haven't scheduled to go over to their physical qualification test. And throughout the years, we've noticed we lose a lot of people just not signing up for the PQT. So what our company does is they reach out to the members and say, hey, you need to sign up for the PQT. If you're not signing up, why not? Our recruiters will do the same thing. They'll follow up because we want everybody to get to that physical qualification test. Of the 2,000 members, a little over 2,000, right now we're at 44% white, we're at 28% Hispanic, we're at 17% Black, we are at 5% Asian, 2 or more is at about 3%, and we have about 2% of the members of the applicants not responding to us. So those numbers, I'd love to see a push at the end here until the very last day. But we have seen in the past, though, if people haven't signed up by now, maybe they're a little nervous, maybe they're a little hesitant, but it can't hurt for these type of conversations, this type of push until the end. This weekend, hopefully we get a bunch of people say, hey, I can still apply, or maybe they didn't know. And with the help of everybody on this call, we can get that word out. So is there any questions or anything anybody would like us to go over?
Well, Lieutenant Colonel, first I want to say thank you so much for the presentation. And we have several pastors on here that are going to be talking about it from their pulpits this coming weekend. We'll also get this out to our email list for IM, which is another 70 or 80 pastors. So prayerfully, we can boost these numbers. But thank God for the great accomplishments you guys have already received. I mean, 2,000 is great, 1,500 already scheduled. And let's believe for that other 25% to come through. I do have a question in reference to what can disqualify a person for applying. Do they have to be squeaky clean? If they had an arrest for marijuana 4 or 5 years ago, are they eligible? Can you just go over qualifications and what can disqualify someone?
So our ADQs, our automatic disqualifies, are posted on njtrooper.com. And at one point, a number of years ago, we had 24. I believe we're down to 14 or 12 right now, I think, Elena, right? Those are for the background investigation. For the BIQ, which is the initial online application, it would be, I believe it would be their age, because they have to be 35 before they graduate. I believe their citizenship, and SFC spies fill in if anything I'm missing. You have to have a citizenship. You can't have denounced the country, I believe is one of them as well. Mm-hmm. What else is there, Alina? And this is
so
not the ADQs.
Yeah, there are 12. Again, they went from 24 to 12. They are all on our website, but just to go over, the applicant convicted of an indictable offense or is presently under an indictment, convicted of any offense involving domestic violence, convicted of 2 or more offenses, driving while intoxicated. So that's 2 or more that will get you out, or 1 within the last 5 years. Currently on probation, or at any time within the last 12 months. If the applicant pled guilty or has been found guilty of any motor vehicle violation 5 or more times within the past 2 years. Sometimes that gets people, it's 5 or more within the past 2 years. Applicant has dishonorably discharged from any branch of the military service or law enforcement agency. So if you had a dishonorable discharge, adjudicated by a court or found by an employer to have violated any person's civil rights, convicted of any offense involving or touching a previous public office, position, or employment. Applicant has been a citizen of the United States and has renounced his or her citizenship. I will say, as a recruiter, and I've been here for a while, that one gets some people. So if there's any questions, please give us a call. 3 more. Applicant subject to restraining order for harassing, stalking, or threatening, or domestic violence related offense. Sold, manufactured, or distributed. Again, sold, manufactured, distributed any illegal controlled substance in his or her life. Applicant engaged in unauthorized usage of illegal drug while employed in a position of public trust. So those are the 12. They are listed on our website. Again, if there is a question or anybody wants to get into a little more, reference any of those, please reach out.
Well, great. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to open up again for questions. I do see 2 comments in the chat, but they're pretty much, again, agreeing with a great presentation and obviously a great job on the outreach team. Any other questions that we might have? We're few in number tonight, so if you just want to speak up, if you can't raise your hand there, you speak up and ask any questions there might be.
Reverend Jackson, you had your hand up before.
No, I don't have a question, but I do want to just say I agree that your recruiting efforts are going very well and that the communications are pretty fluid and frequent. And I think that's going great. What I'll do is I'll commit to posting on my social media accounts to make sure that the word continues to get out.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions at all? Well, if there are no other questions, listen, again, team, thank you so much. You guys are doing such an awesome job. And I'm just curious, I know you hit 2,000 already. how does that number compare to last year around this time when you were trying to recruit? Did you blow those numbers out the water?
No, they're about the same, maybe a little bit higher. And I do have the stats. I do have my stat book. If I can open it up real quick. The first couple of weeks were about the same. The online application last year was only opened up for a short amount of time because we were crunched. So we didn't have this extended time. So to compare the two might not be that fair. Plus we have all you guys on board. So that definitely helps. So last year, the total number at the end was 3716. So that was the number of applicants that were qualified. And that was in February of 2020. So we might get there. I think we'll get there.
All right. I'm going to, we have Dr. Holmes. Go right ahead, Dr. Holmes.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Pastor Khan. I have a question in terms of data. Are we collecting the data to show what groups have been responsive and what groups haven't, so that, you know, in the future, like we have good numbers now, but you know, there might be other recruitment efforts that we can make to specifically target certain communities. So how are we with data and you know, analyzing that data for the future?
So we do an after action report after every selection process. Each selection process is not normally for one class. It's in the past, it would be for 3 classes. Lately, it's been for 2 classes. So I joked about my book, and my book is broken down by application, PQT, written exam. What had happened years ago with the original online application, we put all our demographic questions at the end. And we learned that being at the end, if somebody hit an automatic stop sign, we wouldn't get that data. So we flipped it up front so our data would be better. So we can keep track of where people either fell out of the process or just chose not to go forward. And we've asked our company, APT, to reach out to these members to find out why they're not continuing in the process. So with that data comes the demographics, the race, the gender, the sex, if people choose to give it to us, because legally we cannot mandate somebody to tell us what their race is or what their sex is until they actually become a state employee. So we go off of what they tell us and what they give us, but we keep track of pretty good data. And I think we have a very good handle on what we're seeing. We want to improve our demographics everywhere. We'll never be satisfied with where we are. So that's why we continue to push, because I know Colonel Callahan, you guys all know Colonel Callahan, we're never satisfied with where we are. We always can improve upon everything that we do. And I think that's what makes the state police what it is today. We always try to make ourselves better.
Thank you so much. And just one final question before I turn it back over to you, Pastor Khan. In terms of once a recruit comes into the academy, how diverse are the instructors in the academy? Because, you know, a lot of times it helps, like when I was in law school, it helped to see a professor that looked like me or
Yes.
understood. Like, I remember one time when I was answering an exam question and they were talking about a Molotov cocktail. I had never even heard of a Molotov cocktail. So because that wasn't even in my vision, it kind of impacted the way I approached the question. So I share that story to say sometimes representation matters, not just in the recruitment effort, but at the academies where we teach. So how are we in terms of diversity in the academies in Tennessee?
That is actually a great question. And on this call, I was a prior commandant at the academy, and that position is in charge of the training bureau. So I was down there for a number of years. Major Mark Santiago was an instructor down there. SFC Spies has instructed down there. Lieutenant Adam Grossman has instructed down there. And Major Polite has also been a guest instructor down there. Our core group of instructors, we like diversity down at the academy because just like you said, we need to be able to look up and see what we are. So our numbers, I don't have them right off the top of our head, but trust me, when we are looking at what they are, we have a core group of instructors that are there full time. And then we bring detachments back to the academy each class because of their subject matter expertise. And we keep that diversity in our mind, the forefront of our mind, because we want the recruits to be able to look, to see what they're capable of doing, see that this person did it, so I can do it. When I went through the academy 25 years ago, there was 12 female recruits invited, 10 showed up, 5 graduated. We had about 5 females down there. That was, for me, that was pretty awesome. Would I like to see more diversity at the academy? Absolutely. Like I said, we can be better, but our pool, we'd like to see more diversity throughout the whole state police. So we do a lot of detachments. The numbers I don't have off the top of my head, I apologize, but I will get them and make sure we get them to you.
Thank
Okay,
you so
great.
much.
Any
That's
other?
it for me.
Yeah, great questions. Any other questions at all? I think we have something here in the chat.
Oh, a detachment. So a detachment is, so let's say Lieutenant Adam Grossman is assigned, he's in charge of the recruiting bureau. That's his primary role. He's in charge of the recruiting bureau. When a state police class goes down, we can take him and detach him to the academy for the class. So his primary role during that time frame when he's detached is at the academy. When the class ends, he can go back to his primary.
Okay, and I think I had one more question. I was going to sign up to be a state trooper when I heard that salary of, what'd you say, $640,000 a year? Is that what you said in the beginning?
I did not say that. Alina, would you like to clarify that? She's still on mute.
I'm unmuting. No, 65,000.
There you go.
566. 65,566.
There you go.
That would be one way to get troopers, right?
I know.
Oh, I'll
but
tell you
I
what.
will
we
say,
would-
now that we're talking about without gaining rank, we retire at the age of 55 at the max. Without gaining rank, at right now, it's about a little over 120.
Great career path.
Yes, it
And
is.
retire and step into something else and have 2 retirements by the time you get my age. That's great. Well, listen, again, thank you so much for the presentation. We got about 5 more days between now and next Monday or Tuesday, whatever it is. Actually, about a week. Yeah. And let's hope for the best and believe that more will sign up. And that other 25%, those other 500, we're going to believe they're going to sign up as well. So thank you so much again. And even though the date is next week, it doesn't mean the recruitment has to stop. The recruitment can continue, right?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Well, again, thank you so much again on behalf of Reverend Derek Green and the entire IM family. Thank you so much again. And we appreciate you guys so much and continue to serve. And we pray for you every single day. God bless you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Good night.